If you're ambitious, you're going to prioritize your career or your business. I get it. But the most important thing we have to do is put the mask on ourselves first. How are we going to lead, love, and respect others fully? I'm talking in business and in life. If we don't lead, love, and respect ourselves fully, so that then we can go out and kick ass in our businesses, our family, and our lives. And so that's what prioritizing. It's the most selfless thing we can do, because we have to protect and defend our fort first before we go and protect and defend others.
Hey, welcome to another episode of the Coffee Break Podcast, where our mission is to share business ideas, practices, and strategies while we enjoy our cup of coffee. Today's guest is Tommy Breedlove, or as some might know him as Luke Skywalker. We're going to be talking with him today about participating in your own rescue, developing and picking your family, picking your tribe. He's talking a lot about the idea of community and the importance of it, and putting yourself first in an aspect of taking care of yourself mentally, physically, so that you can show up for your team and for your business on a regular basis. That's going to be the topic of conversation today, and I think it's very impactful, and one that you may have heard things like this before, but this particular conversation, I believe you should pay close attention to. Before we do that, I do want to invite you to subscribe if you haven't already. We offer this for absolutely free to anybody who likes to take advantage of it. So wherever you're listening to this right now, if it's on the audio version, make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you like the video version, if you're watching the video version, make sure you subscribe as well on Facebook and YouTube, so that you get the latest episode every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. For all of that information, you can find it at Loc-Doc, LOCDOC.net/podcast. Now, grab a cup of coffee and get ready for this conversation.
We got so much to say. We got a podcast to make. We're sipping on lattes, and it's time for a coffee break. It's time for a coffee break. Oh, yeah.
Tommy, welcome to the podcast. Thanks for being here today. I think this is going to be a fun conversation. Based off of the fact you just asked if you could go negative score in rapid fire, I'm pretty excited about what's getting ready to happen here.
So there's always one in every crowd, Chad. Happy to be here, brother.
So let's dive into it. 5 rapid fire questions randomly selected just to get under your skin with unknown point values, and we will give you a score at the end. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Question number 1. What is your secret talent?
Listening.
Listening?
Yes.
That's not really a secret talent, is it?
Well, I think it's a talent. I think it's a lost art. Deep listening, actually being present and hearing what the other person's saying, not what's going on in the Tommy go round. Heck yeah, I think listening is a talent, brother.
All right. Well, I guess it's probably bad process for me to argue with the answers that are given.
Is that negative 15? Am I already going negative?
Dropping down. Question number 2. What celebrity has the worst fan base?
Oh, my God. Great question. What celebrity has the worst fan base? God, I'm going to go Britney Spears. I don't get it.
All right, we moved our score back up. Question number 2. If you could change your name, what would you change your new name to be?
I love Breedlove, man. So that one's hard to beat. I would go with Luke Skywalker.
Luke Skywalker. Question number 4. And I've asked this a couple of times, but I think it's a great question. What do you notice first when you meet new people?
Their self-esteem, their confidence.
Interesting. How do you get...
I can smell arrogance from a million miles away, and I can also smell, which is insecurity on steroids, but I can also smell humility, presence, and kindness, and people who really got their act together.
I hear you. Okay, very cool. That's kind of an intimidating answer to think about. Okay, question number 5.
Takes one to know one, by the way.
All right. Question number 5. Let's see. What foreign language would you like to learn?
Oh, French, man.
Really?
So I can sound sexy. Yeah, I'm from the South. I don't sound sexy. French people sound sexy. Hopefully my wife would dig it too. Like I could just speak to her in French. Maybe,
yeah.
Who knows where that would lead?
Hopefully she would dig it. If not, that would be very awkward. I've spent all
I got
this
a lot
time
of
learning
German
French.
friends, man, and they always sound like they're yelling at you.
So speaking French with a Southern twang, I like that.
I don't know if the Parisians would dig it, but I would dig it.
Well, I will tell you that I visited France and I tried to use Google Translate to talk French to people, and just all of those elements that we just described did not go over well, at least from my experience, but I didn't have a lot of practice. So
there you go.
Congratulations. You made it through rapid fire. We will give you a score of 892.
I'll take it, man. It's better than negative. I got out of the gate pretty low. You're like, that's not a talent, you fool.
That's part of this fun stuff, is we get to challenge the answers, even though it doesn't really matter. So thank you very much for joining us today. So you're joining us from Georgia. We're in North Carolina. Georgia is significantly more southern than us. Even
and where I'm sitting, I'm about 20 miles from North Carolina. So you do with that what you will.
There's that tight-knit, compact area, North Carolina, Tennessee, South Carolina, and Georgia, that all kind of come right together.
We're all right there together, and I'm in the beautiful Blue Ridge Mountains as we speak.
Well, that's awesome. We're going to be talking a little bit, and the name of your website is legendarylifemovement.com. I'm looking at the website, and I like the title just across the top, Legendary Life. What does that mean to you?
So let me tell you first, that website stinks. And it's being, so go to it right now as you're listening to this and go look at it, because it's about to be world-class and badass here shortly. So
right. I was going to say it needed a bit of a refresh, but I didn't want to bring it up.
Refresh. It needs a massive refresh. So what I love about the word legendary, man, not just a legendary life, is if I said Tommy Breedlove's legendary, you would laugh me off the screen, probably hang up and turn the video off. What I love about legendary is it's given to us by our society, our peers, our friends, and it can be a really wonderful thing to be or a really terrible thing to be. And first of all, being legendary is leaving ourselves, our fellow humans, our communities, our networks, our friends better than we found them. And so that would be number one. But I think of legendary as constantly working on self-mastery, living a life of purpose, living a life of significance, having a world-class network, not letting people who don't matter. But I also think it's about business and success mastery, leadership mastery. But more importantly, I think living a legendary life is all about having intimate relationships, true intimate relationships with your friends, your significant other, your family, working on your mindset constantly, your self-esteem, your self-confidence. It's about living the life that you were born to live, knowing we'll never be masters, we'll never be perfect, and we're never in control. But we can certainly work our butts off to be better than we were yesterday. So to me, that's what building a legendary life is.
You started the Legendary Life movement because, and we were just kind of chatting about this before we got started, because of kind of the and I don't mean this in a negative way, but I've recorded a lot of podcast episodes with folks about burnout. So there's the typical burnout story where you've had a successful career and then things started to fall apart. The reason that's kind of that there's some consistency in it is because there's some elements obviously that are missing through that process. That pendulum swings hardcore to one side and it's all career, all business, and you have zero balance outside of the rest of that. So talk us through a little bit of that. And I don't want to short side your story. Obviously it's brought you to this point, but I'm interested in the outcome of that. So you had an experience and then you did something with it.
Yeah. So here's how it all fell into my lap. When I decided to make me my full-time job and not just business success, money, power, status, when I decided to look in the mirror and really focus on me, emotional strength, mental strength, spiritual strength, and prioritizing me over my business and money, when I was in the financial consulting world, all these wonderful things happened, man. I went from junior partner to senior partner to owner to board of director at 39. Money doubled. Got rid of all the negative influences in my network and added all these amazing human beings around me to make me better and to lift me up. Mm-hmm. But more importantly, my self-respect, my self-love, my courage, my confidence, my clarity were pure. I was fulfilled. I was no longer arrogant, which is, again, insecurity on steroids. I became humble. I went from being hated at the firm to love. But here's the cool thing. And my marriage went from life support would be giving it justice. It was dead. But we rekindled like a phoenix, man, from the flames. And so here's what happened. I never wanted to leave that world. I was a senior partner and owner of a huge firm. Why would I leave? My financial certainty was set. But my network started reaching out to me, and I thought they wanted to do business. I thought we wanted to, do some more deals or whatever that might be. And no, they just wanted to grab beer or coffee and take a walk and say, hey, man, how did you get your, I'll say stuff together?
Yeah.
Because they saw a huge 180 shift in me. And then I just started mentoring. I mean, people in their 60s and 50s and 40s. I was 36 at the time, and just started doing walks or a beer or coffee or lunch and just talking to them. They're like, man, you need to write a book. And then I wrote a book because I come from super humble, violent beginnings and blah, blah, blah. We don't have to talk about story. But I wrote a book, and then it became a Wall Street Journal and USA Today bestseller. And then I was like, there's something to this masterminding and experience and retreats. Let me I sold my equity in the company, walked away, took 70% of our household income out of the bank, and went and chased a dream of building this community for ambitious men and women to be not only better in business, but better in success, but better in life, and better in relationships, and to really prioritize ourselves over everything else. And so that's how it all fell into my lap, my friend.
So when you say prioritizing yourself, because I want to break down two things that you just brought up. One is prioritizing yourself, and secondly, the ambitious people, because I'm interested in there's some similarities across the board for ambitious people. So I want to talk about that. But before we do that, prioritizing me, what does that mean? Does that mean being selfish and focusing all on my needs, all on what's going on with me, and putting myself ahead of everybody else? I'm trying to process the humility side as well as the prioritizing yourself.
That's a great question, and I get it often, so thank you for that. It's the exact opposite of selfish. It's selfless. And so again, if you're ambitious, you're going to prioritize your career or your business. I get it. Hey, I get it. This guy does as well. However, in order for us to be more successful leaders, in our businesses, careers, and at home, we have to lead ourselves first. So when I say reprioritize ourselves, I'm talking about working on our outer and inner game prioritization every single day. I'm talking about emotional mastery, mindset mastery, that voice inside our head that we all have. It can be mitigated and it can be quieted. I'm talking about building those muscles every day to lead, love, and respect ourselves first, because we're all hard as hell in ourselves, especially the ambitious. We got that voice inside our head. We all suffer from imposter syndrome. We all think we have to do it alone. We don't ask for help, blah, blah. I can point you out, men and women all have these same commonalities. But we need to walk in a community together, side by side. We need to have real conversations. But the most important thing we have to do is put the mask on ourselves first. How are we going to lead, love, and respect others fully? I'm talking in business and in life if we don't lead, love, and respect ourselves fully. So every single day, not only going to the physical gym, but the mental, emotional, and spiritual gym. Take away the negative, add the positive. So we get more confident, we get more courage, we get more humble, we get more patient, we get more clear every single day, so that then we can go out and kick ass in our businesses, our family, and our lives. And so that's what prioritizing. It's the most selfless thing we can do, because we have to protect and defend our fort first before we go and protect and defend others.
We understand the frustrations HOA board members and property managers face when deciding the best solution for their HOA and pool security. Should we use a keypad, hand out keys, or install a key card system? Do we even need cameras? These are some of the questions that are difficult to navigate, and we're here to help. At Loc-Doc Security, we've spent over 20 years working with homeowners associations and property managers to find the system that best fits the pool and HOA needs. Camera systems for the front gate or front entrance, key card systems for the pool gates, or simply updating the gate so that it meets safety and code compliance. We like to take the guesswork out of the process to answer any questions and help find the right solution. Our mission is to help you protect your people and your property, and that includes pools. Contact our team today to schedule your free consultation for your community. I don't remember if it was a book or listening to somebody. I get them all mixed up at times, but
Me too. I read nonstop, man.
Somebody said something related to humility and selflessness, and it was more so not that you disregard yourself, but that you think of yourself less than you're thinking of other people, and trying to kind of process it in that way, because I feel like a lot of times people get into these conversations and it's like humility or selflessness is just completely disregarding your own sanity or your own self and putting everybody else first. And I think that that's obviously an extreme picture of that, because as you just said, putting the mask on yourself first, and you're referring to putting that oxygen mask onto yourself first, it's the same thing of, if you're talking about providing for your family, I think that there's this mindset, or maybe this mentality or this picture that says, I want to make sure that my kids and my wife are fed first, or my spouse or kids are fed first, and I'll go without. And that's fine. But at a point, you've malnourished yourself and you don't even have the energy to provide anymore. So how do you continue? You've almost done yourself a detriment. So I'm trying to process that in a picture of yourself running a business, leading a business, or whatever, and you've effectively malnourished yourself because you've poured in all that you have into everybody else. And now you just have that burnout, that end of the road, that you can't even serve others now because you don't have anything to give.
I couldn't have said that any better myself, Chad. So you just articulated it a lot better than I could.
I'll just start giving your keynotes. I don't know.
We're a battery. And if we're on the people-pleasing side and the martyrdom side, that's where, we're doing everything for everybody else and we're standing there naked and we're giving our clothes away. That's an extreme example. That's nonsense. And the flip side of that is complete arrogance, selfishness, take, mm-hmm. and no servitude, no giving. The key is we fall on somewhere on that spectrum, right? But again, you said it best. We got to nourish our mind, our heart, our spirit, our body first. Mm-hmm. We got to be the best that we can be so that we can be the best for others. When we put ourselves last, we are killing the most important asset that we have, ourselves. It's our biggest assets, and both are depreciating, are our hearts, minds, souls, and bodies, and our time. So we've got to conquer that back, be as strong as we can be as best leaders as we can be as confident as we can be as clear as we can be first, so that we can go serve and give others. We're still going to spend most of our time providing for, taking care of our businesses, taking care of our families, taking care of our employees. We're going to still prioritize the majority of our time there. But before we do that, the paradigm has to change. We can't put ourselves last. We have to put ourselves first. And man, not to get all woo-woo and touchy-feely, but this life is precious, man. Yeah. And it is short. Mm-hmm. Think about how fast this last couple of years has gone by. And we've got to nourish mind, body, soul first. And there's a lot of tools. Take away the negative, add the positive, so that we can be as strong, confident, courageous, clear, and present as we can be for others. So that you've articulated it great as well.
I've had a lot of conversations on this podcast specifically with people that have kind of run this gamut of the breakdown or the burnout with physical heart attacks, strokes, broken marriages, losing their businesses, all of those extremes. And I think the thing that I've kind of picked apart to be consistent is very much the extreme side of things. And at some point in time, there was a departure from understanding how to take care of yourself or focus on, I guess, that personal well-being. The other thing that I have seen that has been a consistent behavior, and you may be able to clarify this or correct it, is that at some point there was a departure of or I think maybe to say it this way, when they came back around from a burnout, there was this understanding that work-life balance is not a thing. It is a lifestyle that you have to operate under. And there's basic principles and habits that you have to be aware of, especially for the highly ambitious. You'll naturally swing to these different areas. So having a balance of or a lifestyle, healthy lifestyle is part of it, because you're not going to clock in and clock out. So can we talk a little bit about that? Because I'm going to imagine, again, we're talking about legendary people with ambitious people. They're not clocking in at 8 a.m. and clocking out at 4:30. Their life is a little bit different.
Their life is a lot different. And again, the legendary life movement is not for everybody. So if you're apathetic, entitled, a victim, or lazy, we're allergic to those things. And so we're all about personal accountability, self-leadership, self-mastery, and business success. So I personally believe that for us, work-life balance is nonsense, because no matter what, we're going to innovate, we're going to lead, we're going to move, we want to build, we want to grow. And the problem with us is our goals, our visions, our ideals are like swimming to the horizon. You know, we will never get there. Every time we get close to the corner, we move the corner forward. That's what makes this life so great. Mm-hmm. That's what makes these people so great, our tribe so great, yourself so great. And so work-life balance to us doesn't exist. But here's what I love the lifestyle component of it. I like quality over quantity. The quality of time we spend with our family, the quality of time we spend with our friends, the quality of time we spend working on ourselves every day. Hopefully when you're in an alpha state, which is first thing in the morning or last thing at night, hopefully you're working on you. And so to me, it's all about quality. When we're with people, you could be with your children, your spouse, or a great friend for 10 minutes. And if you're absolutely present, you're absolutely deep listening, and you are there with them, it's like 4 hours. Or you can spend 4 hours with your family and friends being on your damn cell phone, watching TV, swiping through Instagram Fabulous, and you're not really there. So to me, it's about quality over quantity, quality for yourself first, quality for your friends, family, and network second. And your quantity, if you're one of my tribe or our tribe, is going to be in leadership, business success, employment, making this world your businesses, and hopefully making an impact in what while we still can in a free economy. So here we are.
I think a lot of this conversation is very timely, because if you look back at the last 2 years, and I don't want to get too sidetracked on COVID, but I'm going to say that, and you may have seen this too, an increase in awareness from your side, but there's probably a lot of people that have gone on an extreme burnout because they've depleted everything that they had to hold on to whatever it was that they were working on or working towards, and they've just exhausted themselves. They've put themselves on the back burner. There's been zero diligence on those types of things. And now they're sitting here kind of repositioning everything in life, saying, okay, hold on a second. We've gone through the depths of the economic situation or business or transitions or whatever. How do I now restructure, reposition, and be set up for a better life moving forward? Because I don't want to repeat this again. Yep.
Couldn't agree more. And so what the past 2 years showed us too is, A, can you sit in a room with yourself and not go mad? Mm-hmm. And if the answer is no, then we got some work to do. And let's go find the nearest mirror, look in it, and know that's the problem and the solution. So what do you do to reposition yourself? Again, I'm all about participating in your own rescue. So where is it in your life that you don't feel fulfilled or satisfied or as happy or successful? Is it money? Is it business? Is it your relationship? Is it relationship with yourself? Guarantee that last one is true. Mm-hmm. Relationship with yourself, because I don't care where you fall on the spectrum. We all struggle with worry, insecurity, fear, that voice inside our head that won't shut up. We all got that thing. I don't care who you are, but it can get quieter. So what I would tell people is it they want more freedom in their life? Do they want more travel? Do they want more happiness, more joy? Do they want stronger friendships? Do they want more money in their bank account? I mean, all of those things are external, by the way. Mm-hmm. So that's what, accept yourself. So that's why it's so priority. All of those things also can be taken away from you like that. Mm-hmm. And so when something's taken away from you, like what happened the last 2 years, or something. Where do you stand? Do you collapse, or do you run to the fire, away from the fire? So I would look in the mirror, each one of us, and ask ourselves, where is it in our life that we want to be a little bit better, a little bit more successful, a little happier, a little bit more joyful, a little bit more peaceful, and go do baby steps every day that have compounding interest effects to improve that part of your life, and watch what just simple daily actions and tasks and personal accountability will do for you in your life. So that's what I would say.
Can you copy this key? That's a question we get asked about 3,422 times a year. And how can you actually be sure that the person who asked that question is supposed to get a copy of that key? Well, we think you should always know who can copy your keys to your business and your home, because it could be your neighbor, an old employee, a contractor, or even worse, your mother-in-law. At Loc-Doc Security, we believe in protected key systems, so you always know who has a copy of your key. To find out more, visit locdoc.net or stop by our Charlotte location. Loc-Doc Security, helping you protect your people and your property. When you're working with folks, or when people are joining into your movement, do you find or deal with people that seemingly have everything kind of working together, but they've got some type of mental hiccup or hang up? Maybe it's that is causing this distraction. So maybe they've figured out a way to navigate family life. Maybe their relationship is fine. Maybe their business is seemingly fine, but there's something kind of tucked away that is taking up a majority or a large portion of their mind processing. And so effectively they've got things working, but they became stagnated, or they got stuck, and they can't get from from here to there, but they cannot make it past that point because of being stuck.
Yep. I find that in almost 100% of people. And if you're not that, I mean, go be grateful, go scream it from the rooftops, because it's not if it's going to happen, it's when. Mm-hmm. We either get stuck or hung up, or just some component of our stew. I like to think of us as a stew, and we have to have all the ingredients in the stew to be good. But, we're always, like for me, I'm always working on something, or always need to be better in something. And so I do find that a lot of people are stuck. And here's the issue that no one really talks about is 95% of our thoughts, our actions, and everything we do every day is the same that we did yesterday. And it's because of our unconscious minds are dictating, like in our brains, why I don't want to eat that pint of Ben and Jerry's. This is one of my weaknesses. My brain tells me not to eat it. I go eat it. That's because my unconscious is driving the ship. So wherever we're stuck, wherever we're lost or alone, or where we need to work, or what's missing from our business or lives, it's because our unconscious is driving the ship. Mm-hmm. And so what I scream from the rooftops is that's why we prioritize ourselves, is to rewire, to retool, because anything that's been learned can be unlearned. And everything we do has been learned. Mm-hmm. Culture, parents, ridiculous news that's useless, social media, which is also useless. Follow Tommy Breedlove, by the way. And so all of that is learned. Anything that can be learned can be unlearned. Anything that you're stuck can be unstuck. And so that's why prioritizing, reading, listening to a great podcast like this, filling yourself with good, our ears and eyes are poison all day long. News, social media, negative friends, blah, blah, blah. Get all that crap out of your life. Start adding some goodness, some growth, some learnings. And that's why, again, sound like a broken record, is we've got to invest in strength, confidence, courage, peace, and clarity every single day for ourselves, so we can get unstuck and move forward. But also, I think what a lot of us do is try to fix it or walk alone. Mm-hmm. And I'm a firm believer that we've got to walk side by side. Pick your community. We talked about Vistage before we got on air. Is it Vistage? Is it YPO? Hopefully it's the Legendary Life Movement, where you're walking authentically, asking for help, but doing life together, we want to be the family you choose. And so don't walk alone, work on yourself, and know that voice inside your head can get quieter.
Yeah, we were headed in the same direction. I was getting ready to make that brazen statement of, okay, got it. I can work on that myself. I don't need really any help. I've done everything else kind of independently. So why do I need somebody else to help me with this? From an ambitious standpoint, I think that may be a common conversation. Maybe from a frugal entrepreneur, that may be a conversation to say, I'd rather invest that money elsewhere because I need to do that. What is the thought on that? Obviously, because we could talk about all the benefits all day long, but there's also a major component of action and actually putting it into effect.
Hey, man. So I want to step back here and don't take Tommy Breedlove or Chad's word for it. I think we would all agree from a financial standpoint, Warren Buffett is pretty damn successful. I think we would agree to that.
I mean, he's okay.
I think he's done all right for himself. I think he's going to be okay. But what does he say? The number one investment financially that you can make is in yourself. The number one. And he, even to this day, and I guess he's in his late 80s, he still works on himself every day. So enough of that. We beat that to death. But what happens when you join a community of like-minded men and women who are driven, who are ambitious, who want to prioritize themselves, is what you get is wisdom. These people don't share advice because advice is you and should. No one listens to advice anyway. See our news. Everybody listens to wisdom. In business, I have been here. I have done this. I failed here, and here's what I learned from it. In my relationship, this is what it looked like. Here's where I failed. Here's what I did. And that's what we do is we share wisdom, not advice. We are learners and not knowers. And we're constantly open-minded to growth in all areas. And so when you pick the family and you walk this journey together, A, you realize you're not alone. B, you gain a lot of wisdom because we all think the thoughts in our head, like I'm the only one who thinks it's nonsense. If you think it or believe it, so does 10 million other people, especially in the business world and in life. So to me, you get a tribe that you choose to be around, and they end up becoming some of your best friends, your closest confidants, and your inner circle. And I'm a big believer in your inner circle. I want my closest group to be my board of directors. I want them to love me when I need love, but I also want them to kick me in the face when they see me breaching some sort of integrity or getting too high on the hog. I'll use a Southern term. And so I want to do life with people who are like us and who want to be better in every phase.
I don't know about the kicking in the face statement. I don't know if I'll endorse that, but punching somebody in the throat. That
metaphorically.
No, so that is a very fundamental truth there, and something that you just said is pick a family. So when you're talking about community, maybe it's the Legendary Movement, maybe it's a Vistage or a Entree Leadership Group, or so. There's so many different groups out there right now. You can find something or some group that is on a similar journey that you're on that you can add to and gain significant wisdom from. And you may so I'm going to be straightforward honest with you. Looking at your website, it looks like it's a lot of hiking involved or outdoor adventures in your group.
Well, we're based our foundational retreat, which we require people to go through prior to act. We have to discern them. And they have to discern us to see if, we're their flavor and they're our flavor. We are based here in the Appalachian Mountains. So part of that foundational retreat, just one day. And most of it is in session, working on content, purpose, clarity, goals. But we do take a mile hike on the Appalachian Trail and watch the sunrise, and it is profound. But part of once we let you in, and we don't let everyone in, and you might not want to be in, you might have a different flavor. I might be strawberry and you want chocolate. But our experiences are always around a theme or an adventure or outdoor or sport or business. And so we also do fun stuff. It's just not always intense and leadership content. We also want to do life together. So a lot of our stuff is adventure. We got a whitewater trip coming up, and then we've got a huge wine dinner, like a bougie 5-course wine dinner coming up in December, man. So we do everything in between. So we do bougie, adventure, sport, we do it all.
Well, and the reason I say that is because that is appealing to a group of people. It may not appeal to everybody.
That's right.
And so when you said pick your family, I think that was something that I oftentimes gets overlooked, because everybody's out there going, hey, yeah, we have this community group. We've got this peer group. We've got this support group. We've got this whatever. And you have to find one that is on that same journey because for me, and again, that's kind of where I was going, something like that, the adventure side of it is probably less appealing to me than the sitting around and having the business conversations.
Yep.
But that doesn't mean that means I need to find the group that works for me. So that was my point that I was trying to get to, was that when you said pick your family, you've said this multiple times, you're not the group for everybody, but there is a group for somebody. So
always,
I think the big takeaway, even more so, that has been opened up over the last couple of years, is having that family. Because here's the thing: you talked about burnout, we've talked about taking care of yourself, pointing out those kind of areas that you need improvement on. It is very difficult to do that for yourself. And most of the time, you're going to put those issues on the back burner because everything else is going to be priority. We were talking about this before we started recording. Business is always going to be priority. Business is always going to kind of jump to the front of that conversation. Working on myself, yeah, I'll work on that later. Setting time aside for the family, yes, I'll do that later. Business is always going to take priority, unless there's somebody else there to help hold you accountable or to point those out before you hit way to the end of burnout.
That's right. And to do it with you. It's more fun to do things in a community and as a group. And here's the truth, man. And it's just like this. We put ourselves last, or we put our families last. But I mean, imagine if you ate a Big Mac, one bite, and you fell over with a heart attack. Mm-hmm. Then you would know. It's the same thing for yourself, for your physical body, your mental body, your emotional body. And I'm in the success, leadership, and mindset space, and we've got to prioritize ourselves. I'm talking quality again. I'm not saying sit on the top of a mountain and sing Kumbaya for 4 hours a day. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about 30 minutes to an hour a day of just you working on you to be stronger for you, so that you can be stronger for others. Mm-hmm. Because it's compounding interest, man. If you smoked a cigarette and you fell over, we had cancer instantly. It's the same thing with our life. It's the same thing with our self-confidence. It's the same thing with our courage and business. And you only get one shot with your family, friends. And that's the regrets, all these books on the regrets of the dying, they always want, I should have spent more time. I should have got rid of that career, more time with family and friends, more time for joy, happiness. And so that's something we're all about as well.
So I want to ask you this question as we kind of draw this conversation to a close, because it's been very intriguing for me. But when you talk with people, when you're dealing with people, what is one of the biggest singular pieces of advice that you would give to somebody that is working towards or intrigued by a more balanced lifestyle that is an ambitious individual? So you've got an ambitious individual that's trying to grow career or business, and they are also intrigued or looking for a more balanced lifestyle. What is the biggest piece of advice that you would give them?
I would say we alluded to it earlier. I'd say participate in your own rescue. I learned that from speaking of adventure, a river rafting guide. And I was going down class 5 rapids, and that's river speak for this is real dangerous. Mm-hmm. And I said, what if you fall in? And he first answer I didn't like. He said, follow the light, which means I was dead. So I didn't want to follow the light. So I was like, okay, what's option B? And he goes, you got to participate in your own rescue, man. You got to turn over. You got to look for the rope. You got to swim, and you got to do everything in your power to stay up. And I was like, man, that is the best analogy for life I've ever heard. And so if you're seeking balance, or you're seeking joy, or you're seeking love, or more sex, or more money, or just a better lifestyle, participate in your own rescue. No one's coming to save you. Find a tribe. I'm in the self-empowerment business. Guess what I have? Coaches. Guess what I'm in? 2 masterminds.
Mm-hmm.
Work with somebody to help you be better. Do not walk it alone. Participate in your own rescue. Look in the mirror. Know that's the problem and the solution. And go take intentional action. Action for action's sake means you've gone a long way, but you went the wrong way. Intentional action means you know exactly where you're going and you're taking actions on those goals, that vision, whatever it is you want in your life. So that would be the advice I would give people.
I like it. I think that's a good one to end on. Participate in your own rescue. I appreciate it, Tommy. It's been a blast, or as your close friends call you, Luke Skywalker. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Apparently my superpower is not a superpower, so I appreciate it. Or my talent is not a talent at all. So thank you for pointing that out, Chad. Hey, dude, this has been an honor. Thank you. And I hope everybody finds their tribe and community and walks this journey with people that they love and respect.
For more information, obviously, they can go find your horrible website at legendarylifemovement.com. Soon
it'll be better by the time they get there.
There you go. All right, Tommy, thank you again for joining us today. It was such a blast. Great information. Participate in your own rescue. What are you looking to accomplish? Be mindful of that, and constantly be working on self-mastery. Those are some things to be mindful of. There's a YouTube video that I watch on a regular basis, and there's some folks from Australia, and they refer to people of high caliber as legends. And it reminded me of that through conversation with Tommy today. Legendary, working to be a legend, but it's a title that your peers give you, not that one that you give yourself. Pretty cool takeaways for today. Thank you very much for joining us on this episode of the Coffee Break Podcast. The great news is we've got over 100 of these other episodes on our platform, so make sure you check those out. And the even better news is we have a brand new episode coming next Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Make sure you're subscribed so you never miss a single one. And thank you for joining us on this episode of the Coffee Break Podcast.